It took 10 days of intense fighting to free Al-Ol from the Islamic State group's hands. The town still bears the scars from the US-led coalition bombing raid 2 months ago. There's no sign of the 3,000 or so residents that used to live here before the country's civil war began. At times, many were kept in cramped prison cells, just 1 square metre in length and 2 metres deep.
This is the Islamic State group prison. The villagers were kept here, but also the women. They organised a sex slave market over there, where women were sold for €150 each. And if someone tried to run away, they'd cut their head off.
Retaking the town was the first significant advance made by the so-called US-backed Syrian Democratic Forces, of which these Kurdish troops are a part. But more than just retaking Al-Ol, they also confiscated a source of the Islamic State group's income.
These oil wells were being used by the Islamic State group, and we've taken them back. What you hear there is the sound of gas. I've just opened the vent. The petrol comes straight out here, and then if you turn this, you can collect it from the pipe at the end.
These tanks still bear the marks of jihadist graffiti. The oil being stored here was being sold to Turkey on the black market.
They were making between 10,000 and 15,000 euros a day. The Islamic State group were selling the petrol for the sole purpose of buying weapons and destroying the region.
Before fleeing the area, the Islamic State group set up booby traps and sabotaged the oil field's equipment.
Look at this. These are all the homemade mines that we found. And there's a whole cache of other things. This is TNT, explosives, and here's a rocket they didn't get to use.
The battle for control of Syria's oil fields is pivotal in the wider civil war. A black market industry is thriving. For the Kurds, the next step in getting their oil ready for sale is to refine it. For that, they travel to this plant just tens of kilometers from the Iraqi border. The air here is toxic.
This is my refinery. I'm using it to make petrol. Do you understand how it works? Over there are pipes to cool the petrol down. Otherwise, it gets too hot.
Ali Ahmed sells his petrol for around 18 centimes per litre, 7 times less than in France. It allows him to make around €8 a day, something that wasn't always possible. The damage to the oil fields means that the amount of oil Kurdish forces can extract has been significantly reduced. They're also limited as to where they're able to sell the product, with the region still gripped by civil war. The Islamic State group is currently responsible for up to 80% of all the oil produced in Syria.